I've got the recording going. Yes, great. Thank you for coming. Today's webinar, our introduction to traditional Chinese medicine. My goal with this workshop is try to give you a feeling for Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine is so vast, it's overwhelming because of how broad it is in its scope. If you get a book on Chinese medicine, you will get like a little window into it, because Chinese medicine is like an ancient metropolis that every millennia just grew bigger and bigger and bigger until it's beyond the scope of what one person can truly understand in a lifetime. It's 5,000 years of information, 5,000 years. How are you going to learn that in one lifetime? So most people, what they decide to do is just like you may never get to every place in such a big metropolis, you pick a neighborhood that you like. And that's Chinese medicine. You have to pick a neighborhood that you like. You get to know the neighborhood, you know where the grocery store is, you know where the dry cleaner is, you got it all, your little corner of it. And Chinese medicine is like that. So what my goal today is to try to give you a feel for it. I think that will help as you move forward and add more content, more knowledge to your understanding. The reason that Chinese medicine is important for us is that it gives us a tool that we can use to understand our personal selves within the framework of our environment. We need a tool to analyze what's going on with our physical health, our emotional health, our spiritual growth, and how that fits in with our changing environment. And that's what Chinese medicine allows. Western medicine has a very specific and narrow way of viewing a person's health. It really tries to zoom in at a cellular level to understand cellular mechanisms for what's going on with a person's health. Because of that, Western medicine is good at certain kinds of things, but it's not good at other kinds of things. If you have appendicitis, then Western medicine can be very helpful with surgery and antibiotics. It's got a pretty good protocol for what to do for appendicitis. But Western medicine doesn't have such a good protocol for something that really kind of encompasses multiple systems within the body. For instance, allergies. Western medicine really is kind of stumped by allergies. It crosses too many boundaries. And in fact, anything with the immune system, it crosses so many boundaries. That all that Western medicine has pretty much for problems with the immune system is to suppress the whole thing across the board. And for some things, that's helpful short term, but for most things long term, suppressing the whole immune system doesn't work. What we need is a system that can look at the whole body as a unit, not as a group of cells, but as a whole working unit. It's kind of like your car, right? If you have a car and you've had it for a while, maybe like a 8-year-old car, okay? Something goes wrong with it. You take it into the garage, they change a part on the car. There's often this result that the car doesn't seem to run right after you change something, because the car had a synergy to it. And even though it looks like it's a bunch of mechanical parts, you replace one mechanical part in a car and then that synergy is gone. Many, many people who've had cars long term will have experienced the same thing. Even with a car, which theoretically should be just a bunch of parts, the synergy is gone. And the car doesn't run the same afterwards, even though parts have been replaced. Or after an accident where parts have to be replaced. The car never runs the same again, because over time, even a bunch of mechanical parts gets a synergy. Well, the human body is that to a much greater extent. We really need to look at the human body as a whole to understand what makes us healthy as we live our lives. When we try to reduce down the body to a bunch of cells, it really misses the boat. Something specific like asthma, for instance. Asthma, you think, well, what's going on with the lungs? Okay, there's an inhaler to use, a couple kinds of inhalers. There's a steroidal inhaler that you use every day, and then there's a rescue inhaler, some adrenaline-based kind of thing that dilates the blood vessels, the steroid to reduce the inflammation, and somebody should be fine. But so many people with asthma, the asthma is out of control because it's not just about the lungs. So the medicines affect the lungs, and for some people, if their asthma just relates to the lungs, the cells in the lung, their asthma is now wonderfully and miraculously under control. It's a miracle, really. But for a big chunk of people, asthma isn't just about those cells in the lung, and even though they're on the same medication as somebody else, their asthma is not under control, because asthma isn't just about the lungs. And Chinese medicine looks at the body and it says, what is this person's asthma about? And maybe it's lungs for this one person, but for somebody else it could be the spleen. For somebody else it could be the liver. For somebody else it could be the kidney. And you need to address those issues, and you get much more comprehensive approach to helping somebody's health. With Western medicine, it follows the Western point of view. There has to be one cause and one effect, a one-to-one correspondence. Asthma is caused by this, so I change this and it affects that. But the body is not like that. The body is a whole system. It's much more complicated than one kind of cell in one location. And we need a broader system to look at it. That's Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine is a very scientific system that's based on 5,000 years of empirical data. It's not random. Many people think of complementary medicine as kind of fuzzy. Chinese medicine is not fuzzy. It has a very clear understanding of people. You just need to add in a lot more data. With Western medicine, asthma is the data, inhaler is the output of the equation. With Chinese medicine, you need to look at the whole body. About 100 different questions need to be asked. And then you can decide what kind of imbalance is going on in this person, so I can then give a more directed protocol that will help. And asthma is one of many different kinds of health issues that Chinese medicine deals with very well because of that comprehensive approach. Chinese medicine is not good at everything. If you have an infection, antibiotics work great. But what happens when you have that infection year after year after year? You get the same ear infection, and you get it 5 times. Are those antibiotics really helpful anymore? No. How about a bladder, a UTI, urinary tract infections? Women get those one after another, followed by yeast infection, followed by this cycle. Is Western medicine helpful for that? Not the repetitive problem, not that. So yes, antibiotics and antifungals have their place, but when they don't solve the problem, you have to take a look at that. You need a better system. Putting them together, putting Chinese medicine and Western medicine together is much stronger than either system alone, much stronger. So it really is in our best interest to understand what Chinese medicine can offer us. And with a little bit of knowledge, you really can get involved in your own healing process.